what we play is actually very important. And very seldom, of course, the conductor himself or herself is in charge of the, planning everything. But I genuinely think that conductors should be involved in the general shape of the season. Because I think that if my name is above somewhere there, I think people who come to the concert, they automatically seem to think that I have planned everything, which is not entirely true. But because of this responsibility, which comes through that, I have a feeling that I want to be involved.
The next season, 26-27, we see a good combination of pieces within each program. So, and also the increased focus on contemporary repertoire. The interesting thing is actually 25-26 seems to set us up pretty well, because there was the Macmillan Concerto for Orchestra premiere, Jonathan Shen's Piano Concerto, etc. There are quite a lot of great seeds which we could just take and bring forward. In your second concert with us as music director, we've got Bartók's Bluebeard's Castle. Of course, this will be a little different because it will be in concert format without the full staging, the sets, the costumes and all. Perhaps you could share with us a little bit about why you wanted to bring this piece here and the differences between a fully staged opera and a concert opera.
Bluebeard, it's composed for a huge orchestra, and it's mainly about a dialogue. That how these two characters on stage communicate. So I would say that it doesn't lose very much as a concert performance. It has orchestral colors which even in operatic world are quite rare. And of course it's Wagnerian world in a way that lots of things which the characters are feeling are in the music. You could probably even perform that score without singers, and it would tell the story, and you would understand it. It tells about fears, and well, at least I think that tells about Bluebeard's secret, private world, which is disturbed by someone. And we all have our private sides. I mean, this is how human interaction very often is. And especially we meet a new person and we are trying to find out who he is or she is. But then it's always a good question that if people should have right to keep their secrets. And what happens if all the secrets are revealed?
I mean, that speaks so much to our life in today's hyper-connected, social media-friendly world.
Oh yes, a social media Bluebeard would be actually quite interesting.
Oh, indeed.
I have a feeling sometimes that people are afraid of Bartók. And at the same time, we are talking about one of the most significant composers of the 20th century. One of the most original and talented composers. I think we are not yet modern enough for Bartók. I think we still need to develop before we can really digest Bartók properly. To me, Zarathustra is almost like a ballet piece. As I mentioned earlier, in Bluebeard the orchestra is telling the story, no matter if the singers are there or not. And what brings these two pieces together is, first of all, the art of orchestration. In Zarathustra, I see movements, but I don't feel the philosophical content. I admire the orchestration. But I think both have the same kind of episodic form. I mean, episodes that follow each other, and then they actually make a large entity. I don't know how much Strauss was carried away by this beginning of the piece. I think he loved it deeply, and I think it might have been when he was reading the book, he realized that I can build this sunrise. Sometimes I have a feeling that audience members who only know the beginning, they are very disappointed after the beginning because they are expecting it to continue as something like that. But it's just a fanfare. Now the journey begins. But I think the journey is much more interesting than the beginning. I don't think that composing has changed that much. I mean, music sounds of course different now than it did sound like 200 years ago. But I don't think that the composer's mindset has changed that much. Although the techniques and methods have changed. But I think that creative artists still think in the same way. And if I learn to understand a living composer, I might also understand a dead composer. Because I start to see the process, how the piece is actually put together. And that helps me to deliver it in a more convincing way.
The great thing about orchestral music is there's 200-300 years worth of great music, but not every piece of music speaks to each artist, each audience member equally. So I've also been looking to find what really excites each conductor, each soloist as an artist, because then that will give us a good chance of them bringing the best side of them to the concerts. And the orchestra, the audience would have a really fulfilling time.
Hi, I'm Hannu Lintu and I'm the new music director of the Singapore Symphony Orchestra.